Happy Easter, everyone. I am so glad that you could be here on Easter Sunday with me. So I hope that you are having an amazing Easter with your family and that you are getting spoiled. And you know what? If you're not getting spoiled just yet, we're going to see what we can do to fix that. Okay, I got to tell you, chocolate is not really on my menu too terribly often, and chocolate cake, chocolate donuts, never going to be a thing for me. But this, an amazing cup of coffee with two different kinds of Da Vinci syrup in it. I've got both chocolate and hazelnut. Tastes like a Nutella coffee. So that makes me very, very happy. Okay, we've got a thing or two to do today, so let's get at it. Pardon me. Okay, now let's show you what we're doing. Now, you will see that I have my scale out today. And the reason that I have my scale out today is because I want you to think about what it is you're doing. Hi, Del. What it is you're doing when you are making a dessert that is portioned already. So this one, we are going to portion into little donut pans. And so to know how much we're going to do in each donut hole, we need to put our scale or our bowl on the scale, pardon me, before we start. Now, we're not weighing everything as we're putting it in because I've already done that, and I advise you to do the same thing. But we're going to know how much the entire recipe weighs because we'll have it right here on the scale. Now, I am just going to pardon me, make sure that we are not disturbed. So we have a 0 on our scale right now, so that's awesome. First thing that we are going to do is we're going to add 30 grams of almond flour. This is not a big recipe. So if you are making Easter dinner or Easter dessert or an Easter treat for you and a friend or your partner or whoever it is that you're making it for, this is just for you. And if you want to double it or triple it or fourple it or whatever it is you want to do, that's awesome too. Okay, so we have 30 grams of almond flour. Now we're putting the dry ingredients in here first, right? And then we are going to add 21 grams of granular erythritol. Because we're baking, we don't need to use our powdered erythritol. And then we are going to add some baking powder. Now I want to talk to you about the baking powder because if you make your own, it needs to be a scant half a teaspoon, a little bit more than a quarter, but not a half. And the reason for that is if you're making your own, and if you're doing keto or low carb, I really advise you to do it. There's no cornstarch in here. So when you're making your own baking powder, if you have, oh my goodness, the word just totally went out of my, cream of tartar. 2 parts cream of tartar, 1 part baking powder, or baking soda. 2 parts cream of tartar, 1 part baking soda. That's it. That's baking powder. And if you do it yourself, you don't have to worry about having even the tiniest little bit of extra carbs in your recipe. Okay, now you can add a wee little titch of salt, not a pinch. It would be, I don't know, how big is a titch? Just a tiny little bit. It just helps bring out those flavors. Now, these flavors that we're using today are very, very bold, so you're not going to need a whole lot of help from salt. But we're going to mix these up first. Now, mostly we're making sure that this is mixed up because of the baking powder. You get a lump of baking powder in your dessert, and you're definitely going to know it, and it is not going to make you happy. Okay, now, there we go. The dry ingredients are mixed up. Now, the next thing that we are going to add is an egg. Just 1 egg, cracked right in. And we're already at 106 grams. Throw that right in the compost. And now we are going to do, if I can find it, what have I done with it? Oh my goodness. I just had my teaspoon right here so that it would be ready for us, but apparently I've put it somewhere else, so we will do it this way. We're going to add a teaspoon of lemon zest. Now this, I just zested this lemon, and you can see if I pack this down, I can get the entire thing in here, and we're going to use the entire bit today. If you're zesting lemons and you don't use it all, even if it's just a tiny wee bit like this, I dry it and use it. Now I'm going to add all of this. So this is going to be super lemony, but 1 teaspoon of lemon zest in the recipe, and we are going to mix that up just a little bit, and then after we get this egg mixed in here, we're going to add the lemon juice. Now you watch when we add the lemon juice and you'll see why we did this first. When you make your own baking powder at home, it is powerful stuff. It works really, really well. Okay, now 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. Please do not buy lemon juice in a bottle at the grocery store. Definitely not going to give you nearly the flavor or the nutrition that fresh lemon juice does. Now you can see already that this is bubbling up. And so we are going to mix this up thoroughly. Now preheat your oven to 350 degrees or 180 Celsius, depending on whether you work in Celsius or Fahrenheit. And then we're going to get this all mixed up. Now we want to make sure that this spoon is scraped off really well. Oh yeah, there is nothing wrong with that. Now we have 137 grams. So that would be, let me see, that would be 36 grams-ish. Yeah, 137 divided by 6 is what we're doing. So, Alexa, what's 137 divided by 6?
137 divided by 6 is approximately 22.8333.
There you go, 22. So that's what we're doing. Now, before we do this, because we're doing this in the oven, and this has a lot of egg and no fat, we're just going to give it a quick spray, or you can do it with butter or MCT oil. I'm using an aerosol coconut oil because I'm being a little bit lazy this morning, and I didn't figure you needed to watch me grease the pan. So we know that we need approximately 22 grams per donut. So if you set the donut pan on here, and then I think we'll take a spoon that's a little bit bigger, and we're just going to put these in the donut holes. Now when these are done, you can decorate them with blueberries. You can add blueberries right to the batter if you wanted to throw a tablespoon of blueberries in. But if you were making one single cake, oh shoot, and this is me not watching, so I'm just gonna fill these fairly even. I did not zero my scale, so here I am showing you how to do this, and I'm not doing it properly myself. But we're going for flavor today. So we're dividing this in 6. So I know that in the entire recipe, there is 7.4 grams of carbs. So there's going to be about 1.4 grams in each of these donuts. So add some whipped cream on top of this. Add some meringue on top of this if you want to. Now, if you add the blueberries, you're going to be adding a little more than what we just talked about for carbs. Now, I am looking at this, and I did not scale this out very well. Great example I'm setting for you, hey? Okay, now, we're just going to take a look at these and make sure that they are pretty even, because we want them to bake evenly, and that is why my intention was to make sure that they were all even in here. You want these in the oven for about 12 minutes. So we're going to pop these into a 350 degree oven and we'll see what comes out when they are done. So let's just wander over here. We'll open our oven that is preheated to 350 degrees. Now, if you have a hot spot in your oven, it's important that you keep an eye on it because you can have the donuts on one side raw and the donuts on the other side burnt. So if you know you have a hot spot in your oven, make sure that you pay attention to where it is. When you're cooking something, if one corner comes out a little bit darker, there's your hot spot. And I don't really know what you can do about that, but you can turn your pan. That'll fix it. Nutella coffee. Honestly, you guys, that is marvelous. Now, I want to show you something because when we got together the other day, we did lemon tarts. Now, these are the only two that are left. I rescued these from my husband, and let me tell you, it was no small feat. You guys should be very proud of me because he did not leave these willingly. So, these are absolutely lovely with the keto graham cracker crust. Easy, easy. All it is toasted almond flour. You toast it in a dry frying pan, and then our lemon filling. And let me show you. We're just going to cut one of these in half. And look at that. You have the beautiful lemon filling inside there. And it is so tangy. And you only get that kind of nutrition and quality when you are using fresh lemons. So please, please spend the extra couple of minutes to zest your lemons and to juice your lemons and use fresh lemon juice in your desserts. Those are wonderful. And I see Dell saying next time it won't be so easy. And I believe that he is being very honest about that. So, now these, again, you can top them with meringue. You can top them with whipped cream. And they are lovely. And they're individual desserts, so you can calculate when you're doing it. Weigh the amount of graham cracker crust that you're putting in there and the amount of... Good morning, Mom. Weigh the amount of graham cracker crust that you're putting in there. Weigh the amount of filling that you're putting in there. And if you're doing your calculations, you're going to know exactly how many carbs are in there. Now, I just put those in the oven and I did not ask my girl to set a 12-minute timer. So, hello, Colorful Foresight. Thank you very much. And happy Easter to you as well. Now, what are we doing next? Oh, we want to check on these donuts. Now, Alexa, set an 8-minute donut timer.
Donut timer. 8 minutes.
There you
starting
go.
now.
Get my girl on there. You guys see my artwork here?
My girl is a 1991
Oh, Alexa,
American.
stop. She just butts into every conversation. Now, I knew that we were not going to have time to bake these and cool these and do anything with them, so I got a couple of them done ahead of time. Now, these ones I didn't grease, which is okay, as long as you cool them thoroughly. So put them in your freezer. Make sure, now these are little silicone pans, so I can just squeeze that little vent in the center to loosen it. And then we're going to push this up. And hopefully, we are going to get a whole donut. Now let's see what happens. Oh, well, almost a whole donut. Left a wee little tiny bit in there, but you know what? We can pull that out if we need to. Now, the one thing that I did not bring this morning was a plate, so I am going to grab that. So there is donut number 1. Now, if you use a spoon and just take this out very gently, you can add that right back into the donut. or you can just steal it for yourself if you like. Now, when we do this next one, now these have been, they cooled for a few minutes because I didn't want them going straight in the freezer because it can make the freezer sweat, so we don't want that. So we just loosen that chimney, and then I'm just going to go around here very gently, maybe with the handle of the spoon, and we'll see if we can't get this all loosened out. Now, in a lemon tart or a lemon donut, what is it that you want in the center? Do you want blueberries, whipped cream? What is it that you want in the center? Now we're gonna, hopefully, let's see how this one turned out. Now these ones, I gotta tell you, yeah, I did it again. I didn't grease these because I was hoping as they cooled that they would just pop right out of the pan. And they're coming out pretty well, but they're not coming out perfectly. So I knew that because I may or may not have done a little bit of a taste test earlier. Now let's see if we can, because these are silicone, I should be able to just pop that chimney right down there. And then I'll be able to loosen the bottom a little bit better. Ha ha! You know, the longer you work in your kitchen, the more you get to know your equipment, the more you get to play with things and figure out how it is they're going to work, the better your results will be. And that one, a little bit on the side, but we've done these next ones, so should we taste it? Oh my goodness. Yep, these are lovely. Now, did you know that out of an average lemon, you will get approximately a tablespoon of lemon zest? Now, you want to make sure that you are only taking the yellow part of the lemon on the outside. Be really careful with that, because if you're taking any of the white pith, it's going to be bitter, and we don't want bitter. We want lovely and lemony or limey or whatever it is that you're doing. Now, if you don't like lemon, we can still be friends, but that is a little bit weird. You can use lime. You can use lime, and that will work just fine. Now, the other thing that we're going to do, now you guys are going to want to be here, because for the next little bit, we are going to, what time have we got? Maybe not quite enough time. We're going to talk about different flavors that you can use in these donuts. So there's all different kinds of mug cakes that you can find online. Keto mug cakes, they're made with coconut flour, almond flour. You can do chocolate, you can do almond, you can do peanut butter, almond butter. There's all different kinds of, I'm just going to leave that right there where you can see it. It's going to make your mouth water. So then you're going to make a wonderful keto dessert. Now, instead of doing donuts, you can do these in muffins. So make sure that if you're doing it in a different shape that I've done it, that you leave it in your oven about 12 minutes and test it. It should feel like a cake. It should be just a little bit firm on top and maybe a little bit browned. It's not going to be too terribly. Oh, I just broke that, so I guess that means I have to eat it. But you can see that there's a little bit of brown on it, but it's not terribly brown. So, oh, that's sad that I'm going to have to eat that one instead of serving it to my friend Sherry, who's coming over a little later. So it's a good thing that we have some extras in the oven, isn't it? I'm just going to take a peek on them right now, and they are doing what they're doing. Now, this batch I split into 4. The batch that we just did, I split into 6. So make sure that you're keeping track of your carbs for each portion if that's what you're having for dessert. If the rest of your company isn't keto, they are not going to care. But this way, you can take care of your macros and make sure that you're not falling off the keto wagon if that's a concern for you. So, I am looking at the clock. We've been together 25 minutes already, and it's always amazing to me how fast time goes. when we get together to do something in the kitchen. And I do not have my whipped cream made, but these are definitely going to be decorated with a little bit of whipped cream and maybe a berry or two. And you are going to want to be here on Friday. So remember, Wednesdays we're taking a bit of a summer hiatus because I have so many markets going on and so many spices that need to be blended and packaged. And but on Wednesday, you want to come and hang out with me because we are going to be doing something with a brand new, well, new to me anyway, Da Vinci flavor. We're going to be using watermelon flavoring. And this sugar-free watermelon is absolutely delicious. And if you love watermelon and you don't eat watermelon because you're keto, have I got a treat for you. So you're going to want to be here on Friday at noon. It's going to be delicious. You're not going to want to miss it. So I want all of you to have an amazing, happy Easter. And I am so grateful that my Easter included you being here with me, admiring my incredible artwork, right? Now, if you guys are interested in having me auction this off, I'm not going to embarrass myself, so it probably won't happen. But go and phone someone that you love that you haven't talked to for a while. Send them a message on social media. Do something. Reach out to someone that you haven't reached out to for a while. You're going to make their Easter even brighter. Alexa, stop. You're going to make their Easter even brighter, and in return, you're going to make your Easter even brighter. So please, all of you, do your very best to live your best version of this shining life. That's what I'm going to do. And thank you again for joining me. Happy